Hey guys, this is Daniel and welcome to another video. It has been a really long time, but I'm back from Japan and I can finally record some new videos. So one thing that I thought I would teach you, first of all, is texturing and setting up materials for characters like this here. It's one of the questions that I've been asked the most during the period that I was in Japan. So anyways, let's get started right away. There's quite a bit that I want to show you. So the first thing we're going to do is to set up a material. At the moment, if we render the scene, it looks like this here. So just no materials. Now, the material that we want to create will be quite useful for all the objects. It won't be just a skin material. That means we want to work with Vertex Color as our color input, but have a material with the correct behavior for all of the objects. So first of all, let's create a new material, and we are going to use nodes for this. So click here on this little icon with the nodes and make sure to open a node editor. Now in here there are a few things you want to do. First of all, go here and select the material from the list, and we want to have a white color at full intensity. Just make sure it's full bright and nothing else. Also, we don't want any specularity at the moment, actually thinking about it. Just make it completely white and diffuse. Now what are we going to do with that? We need a color ramp because we are going to create that cell shading effect, and we can preview it as well. If you press N and open up this bar here on the side, with shading you can go here from multi-texture to GLSL, and if you do that with texture mode, you can now get a preview of what the materials look like. Now you see the shadows are a bit weird, but just ignore them for now. If we change now here this color ramp, you'll see that the shading will start to change as well, and by doing so we can easily create this cell shading effect. And we're going to adjust that now for our purpose. I think something very close to the left side is good, and you don't want to make it too hard but also not too soft. Just something that gives you a nice edge. Of course, if you render a scene, it will look different again. Keep that in mind. You can quickly check it. That's about what it looks like. Okay, so now where does the color come from, and also how do you want the shading to affect the color of the shading? Well, anyways, I'll show you how I do it. We need an input, geometry input, where you will be able to get the vertex color from. Then you need a mix node, and just take the vertex color. And now there's something interesting I like to do, because here we have a black-white mask of basically where there's light and where we have shadows. And instead of using that and adding some color here, I like to use it as a factor. That means that when there is white, you will get a value 1, so it will use, I think, the second color if I'm not wrong, and if it's black it will use the first one. Oh no, actually I got it wrong. If it's white, wait a second, what is it? Let's try it out. So this is red. So if it's white, oh, I was right. If it's white, you get a value of 1, so it takes the second color. If it's black, it's a value of 0, so it takes the first color. So basically by doing that, we can use, we actually want the opposite. So let's simply change the colors here. I'll set the second one to black and the other one to white. Sorry, that was the wrong one. Yes, exactly. So now it takes the vertex color as the main color and just fills in the second color for the shaded parts. But instead of doing that, we're going to use multiply and basically multiply the main color by some kind of red tinted color. By doing so, we can give any input and get a pretty good shaded result. So actually I have already done you know, the vertex painting, but I will show you quickly how to do it. So with the object selected, you go to Vertex Paint, and I prepared here just a color sheet. I mean, you would just pick those colors. I just wanted to get them again accurately, so I prepared this. So here on the right side, or by pressing T, you can open up this menu here, and now with the right color selected, you just paint over the whole thing. And there's one thing I want you to pay attention to. Well, two things maybe. So first of all, I painted the entire thing in one color, like this. Okay, second thing that you want to do is to paint the inside of the eyes in complete white. And the third thing, you take a red color, something like that, set the strength to something really low. You can even go really saturated, but make sure to set the strength very low. And then give the cheeks just a little bit of a red tint. You don't even need a tablet for doing that. See, just like this is enough. And even maybe here in an area like this, you might want to give it a little bit of a tint, just something very slight. And one more thing, you know, it actually works as you see. It's pretty good. But if you're not happy with the colors, you can use maybe the hue and saturation one, and you know, maybe add saturation and see how it looks like. I actually like doing that. Yeah, if you want, you can try that out. Anyways, I think what I like to do is to set the saturation a bit higher than it is, but you know, you could also paint it in right away. It's up to you. Just adjust the colors maybe if you need to. This is where you could do it. And one last thing, here the color. Actually, we got a pretty good color here. I'm not sure if I really want to change it. That's the color I used first. Let's compare them quickly. I like the new one a lot. So let's use the second slot. Yeah, I prefer the new color. So let's set it back to what it was. And there we go. So let's continue that way. Select the next object, go to materials, and it was the material object. You see I again already prepared the vertex colors. If you don't have any vertex colors, go to Vertex Paint, and then you simply start selecting your colors. In my case, it was yellow, like this here, and then I just painted over it, and I just filled the object actually. You don't need to do anything. Basically, you choose the color by painting it into Vertex Paint. Do the same thing here. Go to Vertex Paint, you know, paint your colors, and once you're done, you go to materials and select the material here. And the same thing for almost every part except a few. This one too, right? You see, for this part I chose a violet. And now we have a couple of special cases. For example, let's see. This here is a little bit different. We will base it off the same material, but I don't want to have any shading on it. So I'm going to make a copy of that material with that button, that 7. It makes it a new material. I'm just going to call it shadeless. And what I want for this here is basically not to have any shading. So let's just take out the whole shading part, and that's it basically. I just remove the shading and connected the you know, vertex color directly to the output, or with some color modifications if needed. And there you go. That's how you get the shadeless version done. So it will always have the color that we gave it. And there are a few more left. For these ones here, we are going to use the shadeless material as well. I haven't painted them actually. Let's do that quickly. Now you can see how it actually works. Go to Vertex Paint, And so this dot here should be white because that's specular point, something like that. I'm going to select the color white and just paint over it. That should be done. And those other two little dots are supposed to be some sort of pink. Let's get the color in here. And sorry for the background noise in case you can hear it. It's a bit noisy outside. Anyways, there you go. Just make sure you paint them properly. I made a little mistake here. Alright, now that's done. Now here's another object in front of the eyes. That's just going to be complete white. Same thing, just take a big brush, make everything white in Vertex paint, and then add the shadeless material to it. And now the last one is a bit different. I molded it in a way so that we could just apply materials to the different areas. So instead of using the shadeless materials, I'm just going to create 5 materials now, I think. No, 4 materials actually. And just, no, let's make it 5. 3, 4, 5. And just assign them to different ones. So first of all, we need a black. Then we need a new material. Let's start off with the first material. Let's make the first one really black and make it shadeless. So that's it basically, just a shadeless black. And we're going to select the black here, make a copy of it by pressing that 2 button, and this is going to be dark blue. And I'm going to pick here my dark blue color, and I'm going to continue that same progress. That's just a normal blue until I have all my colors ready. Another one. Get the color from here, and finally the 5th tone. I don't have any good naming. Just make sure you press that little button here on the side, or else you will change the material, the original material, which you don't want. So because we always copied them, you know, we have the shadeless settings on and it's all good. Now as for assigning the materials, now everything is in black, and I think let's take a look at the screenshot just to get things right here. I mean, I looked at the references when I created it, so I would suggest you to do the same thing. Basically, where's the image gone? Let's make sure it stays. Alright, so these ones here are going to be the darkest blue, and the ones here, from here to here, same thing. Then these ones are the next blue tone, and same for these here. You just, you know, do it the way you like to do it. It's really up to you. Then here we have the same blue, and just give me a second. Alright, looks good. Almost done. Alright, there you go. Just forgot one face down here. Now that's how you do the eyes. It's just shadeless materials all over the place. Yeah, let's try to render that image. And there is one more thing that you might have noticed. If you render it just this way, it won't actually turn out the way it does here. let's see, in post-processing, for you it should actually turn out like this. For me, I had a few nodes in the compositing, which I'm going to show you next, which make it look like here. So what I did was basically in a node editor, instead of here changing the material nodes, go to render nodes, and you'll see I have here a little node tree to give the image some improvements. So first thing, I have the camera focused on my face. So I have a target, you see the yellow target here. That means, okay, ignore this part for a second. I'm going to explain it later on. Basically, we take the image and the Z value, and I'm making it a bit blurred. Just look at the values here in case you want to copy them. I add a little bit of glare, fog glow, and things, and make it a little bit soft, and that's all I do to improve the colors. Now, one more thing you want to know about it though is, did you notice the eyebrows, how they're on top of everything else? This is how I do it. There is my first layer, and there is the face and everything on it, and then there's the second layer with just the eyebrows. And if you look here in the second render layers tab, there are 2 render layers. You just add a second one and make sure the settings are like this. So here you have the first one, here you have the second one only. And then when rendering it, make sure you have first and second layer selected, and let's give it a try. No, something doesn't look right. We don't want the sky, by the way, for the second layer. Oh, sure, and well, go back to first layer. Let's check the nodes quickly, just to make sure. This is render layer 001. Okay, let's re-render and see if everything looks good. Alright, things are back to normal. Something went a little bit wrong, but anyways, it's okay now. So that's how you get the eyebrows on top. You just take the first image and the second image. So here's your render layers input from render layer, and then here you take the 001 and use alpha over to combine those images. Make sure that you don't have sky here activated, or else it will go wrong. And then you use this as your new image, which you then blur with the defocus node, glare, softness, and then composition. Alright, and finally, the last thing we want to do is to add some lines with Freestyle rendering. And so first thing you do is activate Freestyle, and then you go to the next tab where the render layers are, and you need a new line set. Just add one. We want edge marks 2 actually, because you might notice here that I have 2 edges marked here. Those will be for the nose. You'll see in a rendering you'll have 2 lines like this, only because of the setting. You can mark them with Ctrl E and then mark Freestyle edge, and if that is checked on, those will show up in the render. And finally, we need colors for the line. I wonder, well, you can set it down here with the color. I think I chose something like this here. Let's try this color. And one more thing, just check the thickness here. Yeah, it looks good. Let's just give it a try. Let's render it and see how it looks like. Oh, and one more thing you want to do. You have lines everywhere now, and that doesn't look good, obviously. So we need to remove some of them. Select group here, and then we need to set up a group of objects. So just the face actually, and let's see. Let's start with just the face. I make a group with Ctrl G and select that group, because I don't want to have lines for the hair, because that just looks weird. and doesn't look like it's working. Okay guys, I figured out my mistake before. Make sure you're not on the second render layer. So I removed all my line sets from the second render layer, go to the first render layer and add a line set. Do the same settings, go to group, select your group, and if you now render it, it should be alright. Yes, that's perfect. Now, a few more things we want to do though. Here's another object that I have. And it looks like this. So it just covers the eyes, and the material on it is going to be simply transparency. Set transparency, set alpha to 0, and we don't want any specularity. Just make it like this. Try rendering it. And one more thing, you definitely want to change the material, the skin material that we created earlier, at shadows to receive transparent, because we don't want to have those weird shadows. The reason why I did that is because you see how there is no line anymore. Before we had a line here, but by placing this object exactly into here, let's remove it again, take a look, you can remove this line. So that's a technique that I use to hide unwanted lines, and that changed quite a bit in the result. So that's it more or less. Is there something else? Let me think about it for a second. Yeah, one last thing that I didn't mention yet. I like using the full sample feature here for some reason. It takes time, but the results look a little bit different, but I like the way it looks. It appears a little bit sharper. Give it a little bit of time, and let's compare the results once it's done. So first it's going to look really sharp, but then it's going to render the same thing over and over again, and once Blender is done, it will combine all those images into one smooth but still sharp image. Halfway done, there you go. And to compare it, here is the same thing without full sample, and here you go. So, well, it depends on you, depends on what you prefer. But that's more or less this. That's more or less it. And you know, there's no big magic about texturing these kind of characters. It's really easy in my opinion. It's all about the colors and how you balance them, whether the combination looks good or not, and some shading tricks that you could use. But you know, these are the basics that we covered here, and hope you could learn from this and you could still improve it, and let me know if you have any good ideas. Thanks for watching anyways, and I hope to see you again in my next video.